Well, even as that truce does remain in place, reports that Israeli forces used Palestinians as human shields have brought renewed attention to the Israeli military's conduct during the war. The information in question indicated that Israeli soldiers were sending Palestinians into underground tunnels in Gaza, which the Israeli army believed could be lined with explosives, actions that, of course, if confirmed, are indeed prohibited under international law and could constitute war crimes as well. For more on this, our international affairs editor, Shirli Sitbon, joins me on set. Hi, Shirli.
Hello.
So this report is coming from the news agency Reuters. What more do we know about it? What's in it?
Well, we know that now the information is coming from former U.S. officials. Until now, we've seen reports. There are various NGOs working on this, collecting evidence from Palestinians, from Israeli soldiers who saw that type of practice, were shocked, who testified about this. And they're actually the army, which was questioned about this in the past, said that there are several investigations. But the Israelis are saying this is something that's been very, very rare, and it's completely illegal. And that's what the Israelis have been saying. We can see some pictures here back from the past, from a previous war. Now, the Israeli Supreme Court made this practice illegal. The fact of Israeli soldiers using Palestinians to save their own lives and to put the Palestinians at risk when they enter homes which may have explosives or people they want to detain who are deemed dangerous. And we can see some images from a previous war where NGOs brought this case to court. We will see in these images a Palestinian boy who was taken as a human shield. Now, this image is actually from a teenager, a 19-year-old Palestinian teenager who was killed in 2009. And he was killed because the Israeli army asked him to enter, to ring a bell on the home of a Palestinian, a Hamas leader they wanted to arrest. And they asked him, the next-door neighbor, to do that for them. And the Hamas fighter shot at the door thinking it was a soldier. And this boy, a 19-year-old boy, was killed. And this case was also brought to court. And it brought the issue back to the limelight, with many Israeli NGOs saying that this has to be made illegal, bringing this to court. And it is illegal, but it has to be enforced. So since 2005, it's illegal. But the army used another tactic to continue using Palestinians as a human shield, saying they're not really using them, next to their bodies. But for example, this Palestinian teenager, he was asked to go to see his next door neighbor. It's different, said the army. But the court said, no, it's not different. It is illegal to use civilians, risk their lives in military operations. We can see perhaps other images of this. But yes, so this exists. But the army has always said it's illegal. We don't do this practice. But this latest report from Reuters shows that U.S. intelligence have been listening in to Israeli officials, and the Israeli officials have talked about this. We don't know what they said precisely about this in those conversations. But it was during the Biden administration, and this is the young boy who was used also as a human shield who survived this. And so the Biden administration did not act after all this information about human shields, considering perhaps that it's not widespread, that Israel is investigating these cases. Anyway, it has not been debated. This is from the previous administration, but the Israelis know that the Americans are listening in.
So, Shirley, I mean, this question of human shields is something that the Israeli military routinely accuses Hamas of doing. So now that there's new information about the Israeli military potentially using this strategy, what have Israeli officials said this time around?
Yes, well, this time around, we're still waiting for the reaction. Previous times, they said it's very rare, and there have been cases taken to court after people were being accused, soldiers being accused of using Palestinians as human shields, with their lawyers saying, well, they wouldn't risk their lives, they're heroes. That's the lawyer's opinion, but not the army's opinion. The army has condemned those types of practices. But the Americans are wondering, and every NGOs, there have been reports. The AP, the Associated Press, has written recently a report about, is this widespread? Is this systemic? And also the Israeli newspaper Haaretz had a similar report a few months ago. Is this widespread? Is this a military practice, or some soldiers who are acting this way against the rules? That's the question now, with people want to see more scrutiny into what the army is doing in the Gaza Strip. Also, perhaps the fact that this is brought to the limelight is also something that can push Donald Trump's plan to have a different force, not an Israeli force acting, next to the Palestinians, fighting Hamas directly in the Palestinian territory, but an international force which would limit the contact between the military and Palestinian civilians. That's something that can push that plan.
Shirli Sitbon, thank you very much.